Thank you. Welcome everyone to the first WAPC meeting for 2025, the 22nd of January. For those present in person and online, this meeting is being live streamed and recorded and will be available viewing on the Commission's website or YouTube. Commission members may refer to technical advices throughout the meeting to assist them in considering the information before them. In opening the meeting, I'd like to acknowledge that today we meet on the lands of Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation and pay our respects to elders past and present. Item 1.2, apologies and leave of absence. We have no apologies today. And attending in person, we have Commissioner Herron. Welcome, Commissioner Herron, as your first meeting as Deputy Chairperson. And we have Commissioner Bennett, Commissioner Brooks, Commissioner Hall, Commissioner Lakey, Commissioner Sandry, and a very warm welcome to Commissioner Shears as your first joining us at the WAPC. We're very delighted to have you here. And online, we welcome Commissioner Adair. Observers today, we do welcome the Director General of DPLH, Anthony Canis, Damien Hills from DUA, and Lisette Traves from Department of Communities. Item 1.3, disclosure of interest. We have some disclosures to go through today in relation to item 3.1, the Metropolitan Region Scheme, development requiring approval on zoned land and development not requiring approval on reserved land. We have two declarations. The first is from Commissioner Bennett, a direct pecuniary interest, noting that Commissioner Bennett is with CLE and they're currently working with CDH on an upgrade to the Kwinana grain terminal, and that will require the lodgement of a development application. Also a declaration from Commissioner Shears on the same item. As a peer president, now former peer president, a submission was provided on this item. So Commissioner Shears is making a impartiality interest declaration on this item. In relation to item 4.2, the proposed joint EPA and WAPC guidelines and district structure plans, we have a declaration of impartiality interest from Commissioner Bennett. Note that Commissioner Bennett is a member of the EPA and has been involved in the review of the draft joint WAPC and EPA guidelines on these. On item 4.7, local planning scheme decision report, Commissioner Shears has also noted a perceived impartiality interest in that Commissioner Shears was directly involved in the report to the City of Stirling Council in relation to the City of Stirling scheme amendment. Commissioners, are there any further declarations today? Thank you very much. And item 1.4, disclosures of representation. Are there any declarations of disclosure? Thank you very much. Item 1.5, declaration of due consideration. Can all members please indicate that they have received and considered the agenda? Thank you very much, Commissioners. Item 1.6, previous minutes of Wednesday, the 4th of December 2024. Commission members, they are before you. Is there any discussion or issues with the minutes to raise? Thank you. Could I please call on a mover and seconder? Moved by Commissioner Hall, seconded by Commissioner Bennett. Any issue? Thank you. No, those are carried. Deputations and presentations today. Unusually, we do not have any. So we'll move straight to business. So we have one item in non-confidential for today. That is item 3.1, Metropolitan Region Scheme, clause 28, development requiring approval on zoned land, and clause 29, development not requiring approval on reserved land. We do have Michael Scram and Marion Dandridge here today. Would you like to join us at the table?
Sorry, Jane will step out.
Yes, thank you, Jane. Thank you, Marion and Michael. Note that we do have an alternate recommendation or a small modification to the recommendation before the Commission. Would you like to speak to that?
Yes, I would. First of all, good morning, Chair, Commissioners. Welcome. Just as an introduction before we get on to that, there are two items that we'll be talking about today. One is the determination of the clause 28 and 29 notices, and the later item on the next section of the agenda basically considers delegations to the Departments of Communities, Finance and DOT. For the new MRS to become operational on the 31st of March, there are various functions that need to be updated, including the WAPC and DPLH website. Forms and policies related to the MRS were approved by the Commission last month in December, which is the agenda. For the recommendation, we've asked if for number 2, if we can add in subject to the words freight lines being replaced with the words railway reserve in clause 5 in schedule 1 of the delegations. So that is a change, and that's based on discussions that we had with the Department of Transport on the matter. And I've got a few words to say in the beginning, and that will cover that aspect as well.
Go ahead, Mike. You can cover that now if you like.
Thank you, Chair. For clause 28 and 28 notices, of note, we need to indicate that there are no significant changes to the processes of lodging and processing development applications. Applications will be continued to be lodged with the relevant local government. That will be fairly simple. Where appropriate, exemptions from the LPS regs to require approval for certain types of development under a local scheme have been included to avoid any confusion or misinterpretation. So if we go to clause 28, attachment 2, basically this clause aims to protect state interests and state assets and infrastructure. Attachment 1, which is the attachment that we circulated when the MRS bill was being discussed in Parliament. Information, and that draft was also open for submissions, and we received a number of submissions when it was advertised with general support but with suggestions. So we have modified that clause 28 slightly, and some of the information that we were provided will actually be put in either fact sheets or information. So everything, I believe. Quite a lot of consultation with the relevant agencies, and there's general support for the clause 28. There was one discussion we had with the Department of Transport where the wording they would like modified to reflect what was originally in the attachment regulated. And also they did emphasize that railways are of state importance and really they would like that wording to be changed to all railway reserves, and just instead of referring to freight lines. And we've provided that recommendation. We've supported that as and that's in this, and the recommendation that's got before you is a change to that.
Thank you, Mike.
The rest, I think, is fairly explanatory in the report, and we're open to questions.
Thank you very much. Commission members, are there questions on this item? Sandra and then Commissioner Herron.
Thank you, Chair. Just referring to the consultation that was undertaken, there was some feedback provided by consultant row group under item 12, just a discussion regarding WAPC approval for public purpose land, and it notes in reference to that anything that has a management plan that's endorsed by WAPC would be exempt. So could you just provide some examples of other developments that would need to come to WAPC?
Marion, she's working on that management plan at the moment.
Yeah, we're in the process of preparing some guidelines for those management plans. But how that would work is, for example, a university site, which is on a public purpose site, which is an existing development. If they want to add a classroom or a cafeteria, or they would need a DA. Most of those sites have their 5-year business plan or master plan to get for funding, so they could turn that into a management plan, get it endorsed by the commission, and then every individual DA would not need approval. It would not apply to a brand new hospital. It would be a development of state or regional significance, regardless of whether it was on a reserved or public land. That would come to the commission anyway.
Through the chair, thank you. That's helpful. And are there any examples where public purpose land won't have a management plan?
Well, there could be. I mean, there's public purpose sites which are water treatment plants, for example. They just have a single. Basically, it's a multi-purpose site there, like the universities or like hospital sites where they want to put an additional modifications to a car park or things like that.
Through the chair, is there any benefit in the commission retaining delegation for public purpose land more broadly from the department's perspective?
The commission still has an opportunity to determine those applications.
Sorry, I'm asking, should the WAPC even be a determining authority for development on public purpose land? As I understand through the chair, it would still have to go through a development application process with the local government.
Some of the developments are exempt. The reasons for development on reserved land, the exemptions are in the text. It's basically if the site is developed for the purpose for which it's reserved. For example, Main Roads build the roads on their Red Road Reserve, it's exempt. If Water Authority, for example, wants to put a pipeline through the road reserve, it's not exempt because they're putting works in play in the reserve for the purpose for which it's not reserved. So some are exempt. Some types of development could be delegated to local authorities, which will be subject to a further report next month. And some decision making will remain with the commission.
Thank you.
Commissioner Herron?
Thank you. My points have actually been clarified in the first question, so thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner Hall?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. So my question is with regards to the consultation, and it's great that you've got such high levels of engagement and feedback. Have we gone back to those people who made the submission with the comments, and are they satisfied with the comments?
We haven't gone back through because the report hasn't been considered by the commission. So after today's meeting, we can provide feedback. In addition to that, we're having a range of workshops, information sessions scheduled in February, and we'll be talking to local government, state agencies and consultancy groups to basically give that feedback.
Probably just a comment from me. I was interested in the City of Joondalup's comment about the inclusion of activity centres, and I'm not sure whether they've sort of recognised that it's major development only, and perhaps during consultation that might need to be emphasised. That seemed to be a little bit confused in some of the feedback received. That reading the City of Joondalup's comment, they seem to think that all development and activity centres would need to put in a development application. So I'm not sure if that requires a little bit more clarification in consultation feedback.
Just to respond to you, Chair, on that one, is that the notice that was advertised at the time was a summarised version of what would be required at DA, because we hadn't got a commission decision yet and a final decision on the notice. We did specify to people at the time, this is just a broad heading. There will be exemptions, and now and then, but Joondalup will get the briefing in February, so we'll explain all that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. Any other questions? Okay, can I call for a mover and seconder, please? Moved by Commissioner Herron, seconded by Commissioner Brooks. Is there any discussion?
Through the chair, I suppose just on that, I do think, and also to Commissioner Sandry's comments earlier, I think it is important that what is to be understood is that the there are a range of issues that are important enough to be considered at a state level. And it is no way trying to, I think, dismiss the relevance or importance of the position of local government. But I think that there does have to be a distinction between what is of local interest versus what is. And I think that a great job done in terms of, I think, trying to define that. So congratulations.
Thank you. And just to be absolutely clear, I'm just checking, moved and seconded, that you are happy to move the alternate recommendation with the
Yes.
alternate wording, swapping freight railways to railway reserves. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Thank you, Commissioner Hall.
Yeah, I think what we can see from the submissions is that there's a general degree of confusion out there, and I think it's a clear signal that we need to make planning more simple and easy to understand. And so I think there's more work to be done.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, any consent to the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you all. We now need to move to confidential items. So, yes, thank you. Welcome back, Commissioner Bennett. When moving to deal with confidential items, by a mover and seconder to resolve that the meeting be closed to members of the public. Could I please have a mover and seconder? Moved by Commissioner Brooks, seconded by Commissioner